I believe the greatest trade ever was when Joseph in the Bible.
I was going to ask you about that, so I'm glad you brought it up. Go ahead.
Interpreted the dream of Pharaoh. Joseph was acting on inside information of the highest order, revelation directly from God.
Possibly. It was a dream, but he took it as prophetic.
Right.
Yeah.
And the dream that, there are two dreams, but of 7 fat calves followed by 7 thin cows, and same thing with grains of wheat. And Pharaoh asked Joseph to interpret the dream, and Joseph said, well, there's going to be 7 years of drought followed by 7 years of famine.
7 years of plenty.
7 years of plenty followed by 7 years of famine from a drought. And so Pharaoh said, well, what should I do? And Joseph says, you should get a wise and discerning man to help you acquire grain. Now, why wise and discerning?
In the good years.
Yeah, in the good years. Yeah. To hoard grain. Why wise and discerning? Why not somebody who's skilled at logistics, has done big projects before? And the answer becomes quite clear. 7 years is a long time to wear a bad trade, to hold on to the grain when the sun is shining and the crops are plentiful, and you're still buying this up, and people have to consume less in the good years, and they wonder why. Joseph himself is going to wonder, well, did I misinterpret the dream? Were there hidden conditions? He had a track record. He had predicted the outcome for the baker and the cupbearer while he was in prison. But, track records come and go. And he'd also predicted that he was going to reign over his brothers, and that hadn't yet come to pass. So, some of it was still unknown. Yet they were able to hang on to this for this entire time because of the wisdom.
I really love that insight into the Joseph story, partly because in the book of Genesis, when it tells that story, it kind of abstracts from that. It just sort of says, and he bought up a lot of grain, and then when the famine came, he sold it off. I mean, when the famine came, he could sell it and feed the people and make a killing for the Pharaoh. It's a frightening moment of central planning, actually, but turned out well for Pharaoh and Joseph. But what the story doesn't illuminate, which you do, is to think about what day-to-day that was like. And I think it's an incredible example of your anxious vigilance. I mean, can you imagine? Every day it's looking better and brighter, and the crops keep coming in, and it's like, what are you doing hoarding grain in the good times? You're an idiot.